What's up everybody, welcome back to Inside Out Precision, and today I'm reviewing the highly anticipated Prime Black Series bow. So in particular this is the Black 5. We've had a lot of requests to review these, and we actually just signed on as a dealer back at the ATA show this year, and I'm really excited to be carrying these and then also finally be able to give you guys a review. There's a lot of hype around these bows, but not a lot is known about them, I feel like, other than just, you know, like Corey Jacobson shoots one. So I spent some time on the phone with our rep the other day and got a really good idea of kind of why they went the route they did in terms of the technology and the engineering in this bow. So again, this is the Black 5. I'm going to be doing the 3 and the 1 in weeks to come here. A little bit different review. You know, I haven't had a chance to play with these up until the last couple days, so I usually try to keep things really unbiased, but because this is such a new bow to us, they're kind of a newer company, smaller company, I'm going to kind of give my thoughts on it. So, you know, it might be a little more biased than reviews in the past, but I want to give you guys a good idea of what this thing can do. So starting with the technical specs, the Black 5 is 35 inches axle to axle, has a 6-inch brace height, IBOs at 343 feet per second, and there's a lot going on here. You know, one thing that's really cool is they finally went to a rotating module in the cam. So in years past, every cam has been draw length specific, which made it really hard for pro shops to stock, because if you wanted one of each model and every draw length, you had like 25 bows. So this year, all the Black Series, the 1, 3, 5, and they make a 9 too, which is their target model, but the 1, 3, and 5 are by far the most common, and they all go from 25.5 inches all the way out to 31. So anybody can shoot this bow really. The limb options, I can go from a 40-pound peak weight all the way up to an 80-pound peak weight, so wide range of selection there. And you know, I'm going to start with the cam system. So the first thing everybody says to me when I made the Instagram post kind of, you know, promoting this review was, what's up with the cams? Like, why are there 4 cams on this bow? And it is not actually 4 different cams. It's still just 2 cams like every other bow, but it is a dual track system, meaning that, you know, the string comes up here and then splits, and there's actually 2 yokes that come around the harness here. The idea behind that is that it creates a very stable aiming platform. So at full draw, because those strings are split here and that cam is really wide, it makes it harder to torque the bow, meaning the same amount of torque in my hand is not going to affect the riser as much. So it makes for a very, very stable aiming platform. Now, if you look closely, you'll actually notice on these that the top cam is slightly larger than the bottom cam. That combined with some of the technology in the riser, essentially what that's doing, the reason for that is to create the most level knock travel possible. I'm going to kind of tie that into the riser technology here in a second. But a lot of bows, you know, you set the timing, knock height is level, you shoot it, and it's tail high or tail low through paper, and you either have to manipulate the knock point or, you know, manipulate the cam timing in worst case scenario a little bit to truly get level knock travel. Part of that is because a lot of bows, you may notice, they have more riser above the grip than the below the grip. So the arrow pulls through the true center of the riser, but what happens is, you know, a riser flexes when the bow is drawn. I mean, it's minimal, but every riser is going to have flex. And if the top and bottom do not flex equally, essentially one cam is going to be ahead of the other, even though when you put it on the drawboard, they appear to be hitting at the same time. So this bow does have cable stops. They're not limb stops. So when I adjust my draw length, let's say this is set at 30 inches, so it's on the number 3 setting on the module, I just match my draw stop here to that. What this also allows you to do is play around with your let off. You know, I can go between 65 and 80% let off from 30 inches down to 25.5 inches. At the 31 inch setting, you're kind of stuck at 65% let off, just based on the position that I can put these draw stops in. But, you know, I can micro tune my timing a little bit by just moving that draw stop. So if it's, you know, a 1/16 of an inch open, rather than putting a twist in the cable and probably flip-flopping my timing, I can just loosen one of the draw stops and move it till it touches, and now my cams are timed and I'm ready to tune. So back to the riser. You may notice that there on these bows, there's actually more riser below the grip than above the grip, which is pretty much opposite of every other bow on the market. The reasoning for that is that they actually have the grip in the true center of the riser, making it a very balanced bow, and also having that extra weight below the handle keeps that center of gravity low. Matthews has their dampener system down there. Hoyt has a bunch of bridges and just more material down there to try and keep that center of gravity low because there's more riser on top. But you can see how this riser here kind of makes this little U, this little bend. What that allows them to do is get more material without making the bow longer. And this also, in all their testing, has proven to make the flex between the top of the bow and the bottom of the bow as equal as they can get it. I can tell you that I just set this up, I just timed it, set my knock level, ran it through paper, and it was almost a perfect bullet hole. There's a couple different options to tune on this. They all come with a shim kit, so kind of like Matthews has. Rather than being in the limb though, these are actually on the axles. But again, I can pull that axle out, swap those shims, and run my cam right or left. The bow comes with 4 shims in it. You can also buy an additional shim kit with three extra shims in it. So between all those shims, you should be able to just micro everything to where you're getting a perfect hole without having to take your rest out of center shot, which is really important. I personally love their grips. They're extremely comfortable and ergonomical. They're thin, they're flat. Some guys are probably going to put, a small wrap around this just because when it gets wet or sweaty, your hand might slip a little bit. But they got a really good throat here. My hand doesn't slide. It can't slide up past it and be inconsistent basically. And I just think it's a very solid feeling bow. Extremely solid back wall. This particular bow draws really smooth. In my experience on the shot, it's not as dead as, let's say, a Matthews. There's a little bit of vibration, but there's not any hand shock, meaning it doesn't feel like somebody's flicking the palm of my hand like some bows do. It's just a little bit of residual vibration. And honestly, I think I shot this without any string dampeners on it at first. So a couple monkey tails or, string dampeners on there, string leeches should take away a lot of that vibration. You have a string stop, just like on almost every other bow made these days. Your front stabilizer mount here. I also have a rear stabilizer mount down at the bottom here for those of you who like to run your back bars. And it really is a very stable aiming platform. That bow just wants to sit there, which is really important in my opinion. I don't like a bow that I have to fight to aim or do really weird stuff with my stabilizer setup. Just out of the box, the bow is very well balanced. It doesn't want to kick back on you when you shoot. It wants to stay pretty level. So all big pluses in my mind. On top of just the bow itself, the company has a lot of really cool things to offer. So when you buy your bow and you register it, that enrolls you in a program where every 2 years they will replace your strings for you. You don't have to buy new strings. They don't send them directly to you. They send it to the shop that you bought it from, and then your shop will install it. So you may have a slight installation fee there, but you don't have to buy the string itself. They make these strings in-house. They're made out of BCY 452X, which is what all high-end strings are made out of. And they seem to be really well made. Halo serving, so it's tough. It takes a long time to wear through any of that. And they seem to be a very well-made string. I didn't get a lot of peep rotation. The timing marks are still, right where I set them after running, 50, 60 arrows through this. So that's a really cool program. On top of that, they offer something where 6 months after your purchase, you are eligible for a free tune-up through Prime. So it's, you come into the shop, there's a piece of paper that you get with the bow when you register it. You show your pro shop that piece of paper. That makes you eligible for a free tune-up. You don't have to pay anything. We send a picture of the piece of paper to Prime. They credit us, up to $25. So if they're just looking, you're looking to shoot it through paper again, make sure everything's set, Prime will pay for that first tune-up. So that's a pretty cool deal there. As well as they send you like a kind of swag box. There's like, a hat, a t-shirt, a year subscription to Bowhunter magazine, just some kind of cool little things to incentivize you picking one of these up. So I'm pretty anxious to get this thing through a chronograph. I have not shot it through the chrono yet. I've just been playing around with it out on the range. So far, it seems to be right on par with what it's saying it shoots in terms of, you know, arrow weight and draw length and all that. It seems to be a pretty efficient cam system. You know, the 5 is definitely, it's a little heavy, but nothing extravagant. I mean, it's, you know, it's right on par with a lot of the other 35-inch bows out there. So I'm gonna go get the chronograph all set up here. I've got arrows ranging from 530 grains down to 360 grains. So we're gonna see what this thing can do at 30 inches and then again at 28 inches and give you guys an idea if this might be the bow for you this upcoming season. All right, guys, so I got the chronograph set up here. This is 30 inches, 70 pounds on the dot. First arrow is 532 grain arrow. So if you're shooting, you know, this is an FMJ 300, 125 grain head. So, you know, pretty common arrow for somebody at this draw length. .280, holy cow. 280 feet a second with a 532 grain arrow. That is nuts. That's probably the fastest I've had a heavy arrow like that shoot of all the bows I've reviewed. So this is a 502 grain arrow. .284, so definitely likes a heavy arrow. This is a 470 grain arrow. .298, so almost 300 feet a second with a 470 grain arrow. That is nuts. This is a 420 grain arrow. A little scared to see what this one's gonna shoot. .307. And then this is a really light arrow. This is a 360 grain arrow. Ooh, pretty short. 360 grains. 336. So that's screaming. Really impressed with that. I mean, obviously light arrows are always gonna shoot fast, but for a 532 grain arrow to be at 280, like that is wild. I'm excited to see what this can do at 28 inches, so I'm gonna get the mod switched up here, get it at 28 inches, and we're gonna shoot those same arrows. All right, so back here again, this is now 28 inches, 70 pounds. First arrow is gonna be 532 grains. Just draws so nice. .264. That's still really fast for 28 inches. So this is a 502 grain arrow. .268. So that's kind of crazy that both at 30 and 28 inches, you know, almost 30 grains difference, exactly 30 grains difference in a heavy arrow like that. And it's only, you know, it's only dropping a few feet a second. So this cam system likes a heavy arrow. This is a 470 grain arrow. .274. Here's a 420 grain arrow. .293, big jump. And last but not least, our little featherweight here, 360 grain arrow. .307. So a 470 grain arrow at 28 inches, you know, that's a good hunting weight. To be in the 290s at 28 inches is really hard with a lot of bows, even with like a 440 grain arrow. So this is a very efficient cam system. If you haven't gone out and shot one of these, I highly recommend it. Great draw, great grip, super solid back wall. So far I like everything I see about them. Lots of options to tune. Just a really nice bow. So go to your local prime dealer, check out, this is the Black 5. They make a 3, 1, and a 9 for those of you who are a target shooter. But yeah, I'm really impressed with those speeds. I like the way the bow shoots, feels. It's a shootable bow. It's a comfortable bow to shoot. So if you have any questions or comments, comment below as usual, or hit us up on Instagram. Yeah, I'm excited to keep shooting this thing a little bit. I have a 3 on the way that's also left-handed. So we'll be doing that review as soon as I get that. So stay tuned for more prime reviews. If you like these bow reviews, go check out the other ones. We've got Matthews, Hoyt, PSE, Mission, bunch of different brands on there. So thanks for watching again. As usual, keep them in the middle. Remember, precision is a decision, and I'll see you on the range.